Today is the 17th of December. It is the 1100 hour. I hate talking about politics all the time, but it is the winter months, and it's the season of death, and I don't have a lot of fun things to really do. But I think what bothers me about why I'm on politics so much, it's because our country has been holding this world together by a thread for a very long time, since the end of World War II. And like it or not, we've kind of shaped it into what it is today through military and economic power. And I try to look through the world through a biblical lens, if that makes any sense. I don't see a lot of shades of gray. It's just kind of how I am. It's how I'm bent. I don't see a lot of shades of gray. I see things in terms of black and white. Liberals see things in the shades of gray. You know, there's male and female of every higher life form on this planet, for the most part. With a few exceptions. There's some weird exceptions with fish and frogs and a few other things. With all higher forms of life, let's just take the mammals. With all mammals, there's only two genders, male and female. No exceptions in the order of mammalia. There's no exceptions. There's male and female. Humans are mammals in order of primates. In case you don't know your scientific nomenclature, I would suggest you look up what family that we're in and what branch and so on and so forth, what classification that we've given ourselves. Liberals want to tell you that there are more than two genders. That's a gray area for liberals, not for conservatives. It's pretty black and white. It pretty much sums up the difference between liberals and conservatives. The areas of gray. Not only are there's more than 50 shades of gray for liberals. I believe in freedom. Believe it or not, everybody is free regardless of what you think or say. Because even though they try to muzzle your words, you're still free here. At least you should be. Until the thought police come for you, because that's coming. The thought police. So I see the political spectrum between liberals and conservatives, I see as black and white. There's problems on the conservative side. There's things I don't particularly care for. But the liberal side embraces so much that is destructive, so much that is death, so much that is black, for a looser term. So I will never support any kind of liberal causes. I just don't. Because they embrace death. They say they're for life, but they're not. So this political charade that's going on with Trump and Congress, Trump by no means is a perfect guy. He is not a polished politician. I've been looking at polished politicians my whole life. they are spit-shined and groomed to a degree. President Obama is probably the best example that you could ever get of somebody who's groomed to be president. They found this guy in Chicago as a community organizer. I don't know what about it, what that was. He was a former attorney that's already lost his license because he did something grievous. You just don't give up your juris degree. You pull some shady shit to lose that. So he lost his degree to practice law from whatever kind of shenanigans he was involved in. Regardless of what you think, that's the truth. And then somebody finds this guy on the south side of Chicago and makes him, has him, polishes him up, spit chimes him a bit, presents him to the liberal public, and they all go crazy over him. And then they end up, there's a bald eagle. Every day you see him now. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, they shined him up, presented him, because he could talk a good game. Really does talk a good game. And he appealed to a lot of people, and they just, they swooned over him like he's a rock star. Make him a senator that doesn't even finish his first term as a senator. Said he wasn't going to run for president, and then he does win, and everybody loses their mind, and the rest is history. He wasn't a good president. He didn't know how to make the economy better, and regardless of what you say, for 8 years the economy was stagnant stagnant, beyond stagnant under him. The point being is Trump is kind of a regular guy like the rest of us. And I've said this before. He's not going to present himself to be anything but. If you spit shine this guy up, he's not going to be who he is. And everybody that voted for him wanted him to be who he is. You have all these Democrats on the other side of the coin. They're running for president. The only one I would come to say that presents himself as being genuine is probably Bernie Sanders, because he doesn't really hide his bullshit agenda. The rest of them, they're not genuine. Elizabeth Warren with a video going that she's just going to go drink a beer. How genuine did that look? So put that aside. So now we have this impeachment fiasco going on, and I want to tell you how this is going to go. The Democrats know that they can't get Trump removed out of office because in how our government works, the Senate has to have a trial to see what the crimes are, and there has to be a unanimous, overwhelming vote to get him out of our founders made the process to be not easy. So now we got this issue. So what you're going to see happen is really simple. The Democrats have moved from this, and this is what they did. They tried to get Trump on this whole Russian thing. It's funny how that's gone. That was a sure thing in the bag. Now that's not even mentioned. Oh, he colluded, he got elected because the Russians helped him. And there's no evidence for that. So they know they can't get him on that. So they start looking for something else. And they decided this whole Ukraine thing they're going to go. So they made it up like he was a mafia boss. That's what Adam Schiff tried to present, and then Trump releases the transcripts, which they didn't think he was going to do, and all of a sudden that changes. So they have to come up with the quid pro quo, which is Latin for you do something for me, I give something for you. It's kind of like bribery, and they do a poll to find out what their constituents, because they didn't understand what quid pro quo means, because they're Democrats that they don't understand higher thinking, so of course they don't think. So they change it, the term, to bribery. So they want to get him for bribery. They couldn't get him for bribery. So they come up with two ambiguous terms: obstruction of Congress and abuse of power. Well, what exactly is the abuse of power? You have to have a definite thing of the abuse of power. It's not going to go the way you think it's going to go. Impeaching this obstruction of Congress. The president, as an individual citizen of this nation, has the right to petition a court. His constitutional right is executive privilege with people close to him, and there's reasons for that, and it should be there. Every president, even Obama had that right. They all have that right. Every president that's ever been impeached can challenge these things in court legally. So that's what Trump did. When they called certain witnesses, okay, he challenges them in the court, and the Democrats didn't want to wait for the court to rule on it. So they just went ahead with it. They did some shady stuff in a basement behind closed doors and denied due process to the minority leadership within the House, which is the Republicans, which is bullshit. It's all bogus. It's bogus. So this is what's going to happen. Now, if you listen to their talking points are very simple. We're protecting the Constitution. It's not about bribery anymore. It's protecting the Constitution. And if this doesn't work, which it probably won't, and the Senate is not going to charge him with anything, they are going to claim that the 2020 election was tampered with by the Ukrainians or the Russians or the Chinese, one or the other. Who knows at this point? And they're going to make a big deal out of it, and they're going to try to point fingers, and they're going to try to find something there. And they're not, because the whole Trump administration is going to go through extra lengths to make sure that you can't find anything. And it's not going to, it won't matter, because these liberal Democrats are going to believe all the bullshit I've spoon-fed them anyway, because these are not thinking people. But here's the ultimate, I cannot stress this enough. Trump is never going to go away, even if they remove him from office. Because nothing in this world is more powerful than a pissed off billionaire who has the ability to set up his own foundations, his own media company, his own social media network and platform. This man is going to come out of this office, whether if he's forced out, he's voted out within 4 years or 8 years. This man is going to be so pissed off at what has happened to him between Congress and the media that he is going to set up some type of foundation, some kind of political movement, and he's got the backing to do it. I don't hear anybody talking about this yet. But the truth is, I'm just going to make this prediction, that this man is going to be a political powerhouse in this country to be dealt with for generations. And here's the other issue. And I'm not kind of happy to say this, but I just can't see any other way around this. Because of the stock market and because of how Trump has run business, now we all kind of have an idea how this works with politicians. And they've been doing some bullshit for the past 30 years that the rest of us don't know about. If Trump could turn around an economy in 3 years like this, then what the hell have they been doing all these other years? And the stock market is going absolutely bonkers. If you got a 401k or you're investing in it, you are making bank at the moment. And I really suggest this: if you hate Trump so much, you need to jettison anything in the stock market, because the stock market is because of him. Jettison all that money. Prove how truly woke you are by doing that. But you're not going to do that. None of these people are going to do that. My fear is this: somebody else gets elected, the stock market's going to tank, and all this shit's going to tank. And then we're going to know why. All of us with thinking brain is going to know why. So we shall see, won't we? One way or the other, we shall see. Because I have a funny feeling that if a Democrat gets elected, it's all going to collapse. And the economy's going to, and there's nothing they are going to do to be able to change it again. And all of those people, at least the ones with brains, are going to realize the Democrats bring economic chaos to a nation. I wouldn't have said that years and years ago, when they were sane, but not anymore. So that's just my prediction. My prediction is that no matter what happens, Trump is going to be a political powerhouse, a political game changer for at least at least for another generation. They all know this, particularly if he gets 8 years. Because look what 8 years of Obama brought us. Obama did a few things that ushered in the age of woke with insanity and foolishness and ridiculousness. And a continued age of woke is going to result in legalized pedophilia or the minor attracted. I already saw some guy that wants to run for Congress that thinks having sex with animals should be legal. Think about that. It's just crazy, but it's the truth. Anyway, keep that in mind. But just remember, if you really hate Trump so much, you need to jettison your 401k or any kind of retirement plan that you got that's dependent on the stock market. Put your money where your mouth is and stop being a hypocrite.